Julie Ryan, noted psychic and medical intuitive, is ready to answer your personal questions, even those you never knew you could ask. For more than 20 years, as she's developed and refined her intuitive skills, Julie used her knowledge as a successful inventor and businesswoman to help others. Now, she wants to help you grow, heal, and get the answers you've been longing to hear. Do you have a question for someone who's transitioned? Do you have a medical issue? What about your pet's health or behavior? Perhaps you have a loved one who's close to death and you'd like to know what's happening. Are you on the path to fulfill your life's purpose? No matter where you are in the world, take a journey to the other side and ask Julie Ryan.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Ask Julie Ryan Show. I'm Julie, your host, and I'm so delighted you could join us this week. My intention in doing this show is to provide information, insight, and comfort to people all around the world by helping to answer life's unanswerable questions. We have a whole bunch of callers on hold, and we have a couple of guests first that I'd like to bring on, and we'll chat for a couple of minutes. And our first one is Lauren. Hi, Lauren.
Hello. I'm so excited to be on your show today.
Me too. Delighted to have you. Everybody, I got to be on Lauren's show. Gosh, Lauren, what? About a month ago we recorded it?
Well, yeah. A month ago, you know, these podcasts you got to book far in advance, but I'm happy to say that it came out yesterday, and my show is Witchy Wellness Radio, and we talk for about an hour, Julie and I, about all things medical intuition, and talk a lot about death, but, you know, oddly comforting. I think people really need to hear that kind of perspective in the 12 phases of transition as well.
That's a great way to put it. Oddly comforting.
Yeah. It
is. The funny thing, everybody, is Lauren is from Columbus, Ohio, where I grew up. And so we knew all these places in common and churches in common and, you know, and all of that. It's funny when you grow up in Catholic schools, Lauren, right, in Columbus, probably in other cities too, you know, oh, what parish were you in? You know, we were going through that, and I said, yeah, all my friends were in that parish. So I spent a lot of time where Lauren, the part of town that Lauren was in, because I had a whole bunch of friends over there. But that was long before you were ever thought of, Lauren.
But it was still a beautiful kiss from the universe. I liked when I have those little kismets or coincidences. I love. I know it's going to be a good interview, and I think it was. And you are one of the first video interviews I have now this season on Witchy Wellness Radio. We are featuring entire interviews on YouTube as well, so you can see my overdramatic facial funny expressions and, you know, just really feel and see the passion that each beautiful guest like Julie brings. It keeps me inspired, and I keep learning more and more each time. And I started Witchy Wellness Radio kind of my own healing journey, but the purpose of my show is to show and teach and inspire that our bodies are not in our way. They're actually leading our way and showing how beautiful our bodies speak to us, even when we don't like what we're feeling or hearing, and how to navigate life and your health, mind, body, and soul.
Absolutely. My friend Dr. Christian Northrup always says, I'm here to tell women what's right with their bodies instead of what's wrong with their bodies, like, you know, most doctors like to do. They're educated to treat issues instead of to help keep us well. And Lauren, you do a good job of that, of helping us stay well. So I will post a link to Lauren's show on all my social media, Ask Julie Ryan on Instagram, Ask Julie Ryan on Facebook, and you'll be able to find it. And Lauren, how can everybody find you and find out more about you?
Yeah, you can head over to my website, which is laurenchalantani.com, and I'm sure you will link that. My name is spelled differently, but also if you just search Witchy Wellness Radio, either in Google or on iTunes. We are on every single podcast platform there is, but I am on Instagram and Facebook at Lauren Chalantani, and I would love to hear from you guys and let me know what you think of the show.
How did you come up with the name Witchy Wellness?
It was a download. Going through my own healing journey, I was in the middle of a messy divorce, and I was going for a lot of walks, and that name just came to me about 2 years before I started it. And I thought it was going to be a coaching program, and ended up being, you know, the witchy wellness that I needed to heal, and I wanted to help share that and also bring on beautiful guests like Julie to help share their wisdom as well.
Have you seen the meme that is, I think it's got a broom on it, like a witch's broom. I'll see if I can find it, and I'll send it to you. And it says something like, if you can't stand the pressure, get off the broom, or something like that. It was hilarious. Have you ever seen that? I'll see if I can find it, and I'll send it to you. Yeah, it's a riot. But really, really fun.
Witchy or witches mean to me really a woman who's fully embodied in her wisdom and, you know, knows what she wants. And for me, that's powerful. And the word witch is something that I think we should all embrace. Someone in tune with her emotion and the natural elements of life, and work with the flow, not against it.
Like the ruby slippers, you know, those came from a witch, but it's like you had the power all along with the ruby slippers, right? I love that. Okay. Well, terrific. Well, Lauren, thanks so much for joining us this evening. Everybody, go on my social media and you ask Julie Ryan, and you'll see the links to the show with Lauren. And Lauren, you take care, and we'll be in touch.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye, Lauren.
Bye.
Okay. Another Columbus girl, you guys. Sherry Myers standing by. Hi, Miss Sherry.
Hi, Julie.
Hi, girl. You guys, I was on Sherry's show. Gosh, first time what, about 3 years ago, Sherry?
Yep.
And we figured out that we grew up 20 minutes apart from each other in Columbus. And Sherry was on the swim team, and she used to swim in swim meets at my pool. I mean, how wild is that? And it got better because I felt so bonded with her when we talked, Sherry. I was very pushy in a nice way. And I said, I'm coming down to visit you. She lives in New Orleans. I said, I'm coming down to visit you. So check your calendar because I'm flying down. She was very gracious. And she said, fine. We found out we lived in L.A. at the same time and grew up in Columbus near each other. And then I get to New Orleans, you guys, and I meet her husband, Dan, who I adore. And come to find out, Dan was in graduate school at the Ohio State University when I was an undergrad at the same time. I could have had him as a teacher. And so all these synchronicities, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So my blog this week, my question, you know how I get so many questions from people and I try and answer them each week. Well, I decided to do one on Sherry and her mom this week. So Sherry, let me read this and then we'll chat about it. I call it Too Late to Quit. And I said, what is it that keeps us going even when things seem bleak? Is it some sort of will to survive, an innate sense of insatiable curiosity, or a spiritual force that guides us? I believe it's all that and more. The human race has faced countless natural disasters, plagues, wars, and other life-shattering events throughout the ages, and we're still here. There's a Sondheim song called I'm Still Here. Do you know it, Sherry?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, and it's great. And Postcards from the Postcards from the Edge with Meryl Streep and Shirley MacLaine. Shirley MacLaine sings that in that show, you guys, in that movie. It's great if you have the opportunity to watch that movie. Anyway, I went on to state, perhaps we can learn from our ancestors and senior citizens, those who've survived and thrived and whose lives can inspire us now. One such role model is Sylvia Myers Willoughby, the mother of my friend Sherry Myers, who we're talking to right now. Last fall, Sylvia moved to an assisted living facility. As Sherry was cleaning out her mother's home, she discovered a treasure trove of Sylvia's paintings. It seems Sylvia never thought it necessary to display her art. She just painted because she enjoyed it. Sherry's discovery led to Sylvia, at the age of 92, holding her first art show, publishing a book of her paintings, and agreeing to allow them to be sold in a collection of note cards and prints. In addition, Sylvia, now in hospice care, inspired a new book called It's Too Late to Quit, a compilation of wisdom, guidance, and suggestions to help people live their dreams. What we can learn from Sylvia's story is there's no reason to quit, ever. Regardless of your age or circumstances, following your intuition can lead to a meaningful life filled with immeasurable joy. So that kind of sets us up, Sherry. You have been really busy with your mom, I know. Yeah, among other things going on in your life. You guys, Sherry is she's a Hollywood movie producer and screenwriter and actress, and she's like one of those movie people. And so is her husband Dan. They are movie people. But Sherry does you are.
Excuse me for snorting.
Yeah, I gotta tell the quick story about when I met Dan, though. Dan, her husband, you guys, is a costume designer. He was a costume designer in a bunch of movies. And so when I first met him, I said, well, would I recognize any of the movies that you've done? And he kind of smiled very modestly, and he said, yeah, probably. And I said, well, can you name one? And he said, well, did you ever see E.T.? And I said, oh, my God, E.T., you dressed E.T.? When Drew Barrymore was like, what, 4 or 5? And he said, yeah. I said, you picked out the hat and the beads and the whole 9 yards when Drew Barrymore dressed E.T.? He said, yeah, I picked out everything in that movie that everybody wore. I said, okay. So that's one of my favorite Dan stories, Sherry.
Yes. Yeah. He's modest and talented. Yeah.
Yeah, and I used him, and Sherry was backup consultant when my son Jonathan got married last May, a year ago. Remember? I called. I said, "Okay,
yes,
Dan,
of course.
Here are my choices. What do you think?" And he was advising me on my mother of the groom dress and what jewelry to wear and stuff like that. It was great. All right, tell us what you've been through with your mom. Tell us what you've learned. Tell us about this whole experience.
Well, it's too late to quit. That this book that is just was launched on Mother's Day, it is this collection of things that occurred to me, things that have been from my coaches, from my Buddhist mentors, from my therapist, but also from the angels, messages that, intuitive messages. Mm-hmm. And it's been a long haul just as a movie producer. And then fast forward, we get to this wonderful event with my mom, which is in last December. And now my mother truly is so talented, but nobody had a clue that she was such a serious artist until we saw 50 paintings come out of her walk-in, and then my husband was driving her somewhere, and my mother, in her Yankee way, said that she had a wish list, and at the top of her bucket list was to have a solo art show. And I'm, being a producer, that kind of a thing is a challenge for me. I don't mind. I mean, it's like, what? Yes. Of course, let's do it. My mother has she has pulmonary fibrosis, which means that her lungs are scarring up. It's from secondhand smoke, because my dad was a terrible heavy smoker, died when he was 50 of heart disease. And my mom has hung on, but now she has this fibrosis. So now she has to be in assisted living. She has to have oxygen 24/7. There's issues with that. So it's tough. It's tough. A lot of times she has to stay in the room. And then, I was there this last fall. I was there in March. This March 5th, she had a fall. I flew up right away. And then everything, kind of started falling apart in that they decided that it was a really good idea for my mother to go on hospice. Hospice has a lot of really great, valuable qualities. It's more support. She's good. I mean, she's staying steady, but she is deteriorating. And yet, because of this, and here's the happy ending, the reason why this book was launched on Mother's Day and is dedicated to my mother is because my mother, just this kernel of joy that she has when she paints, now that she has actually arrived at a place in her life where she can share it and be appreciated, it's phenomenal. So I want everyone to be inspired by this particular example, but this book is to be able to help people to look at or to feel or sense, what is something I keep putting in my way? How can I take that thought, how can I take that belief and remove that so that I can actually move forward on my dream? So, so my mom, really, my mother is just such a kick, and we did an interview on Mother's Day from her assisted living from me in New Orleans, and she did admit that what held her back all her life was this lack of confidence, this sense that everybody was so much better, so much more talented. And then she changed. Something in her changed when it came to critiquing her own work. And now, and she says this in the interview, she said, now when she criticizes herself, because she's still a perfectionist, but she does it with love. She doesn't do it with, this, chaos and despair. She doesn't quit. She doesn't let it quit. So there's lots of things I learned in that particular, going through that with putting up the show and working with my mother on the art, and then seeing people react to it, and then get called business and the print business.
Right. You learned a lot yourself. Yeah. Well, do you think, Sherry, that some of it has to do, too, that when I know I feel this, and I'm in my 6th decade. I'm going to be 61 in a couple of weeks, and I think, I don't care as much what people think as I did when I was younger. And certainly at 92, when your mom's in hospice, if there's ever a time where you're just going to be real and not care what other people think, I think that that's such a role model to those of us who are younger, and it's really just in the past few years for me. I don't know how you feel about this for yourself, but if somebody doesn't like me or like what I say or whatever, that's fine. They're entitled to their opinion, and I kind of feel like life is a buffet. I don't like jalapenos, but my husband loves them. But just because I don't like them doesn't mean I don't want them on the buffet. If he likes them, I hope he enjoys them. It's just not what I want. And that's what makes the world go round. But do you think that there's a part of that her, at this point, she's just like, hey, whatever?
Yes. Oh, yes. And she is, because she is really, she's focused on her legacy. She's not focused. She's focused on pleasing herself, really. And, when commissions come through and somebody wants her to paint the dog, she goes at it. But she does do it because she can still paint, and not because, somebody's going to compare it to something else, and because she's truly doing it out of love. Yes, she cares. Definitely my mother cares a heck of a lot less. And I do too. I do too. I don't know if chicken or egg or whatever it is, but the longer we stay on our own unique path, and I have a page of this in the book, which is stay on your own mat. When you're in yoga class, this is key. Don't go comparing your life or yourself to anyone else, because you lose your balance. You stay with what you're doing and become, a master of that. But we're not in charge of the results, are we, Julie? We're just in charge of being robustly committed, which you know all about, being robustly committed to that thing we do.
Well, I agree.
Being who we are. Being who we are, too.
I find, too, that the longer I live and the older I get, the more I just let things flow and don't try and control them. It is so much more fun. I mean, I really, truly live a life of joy. And if I feel bad, boy, it feels bad, but I use the 2-minute rule to get out of it fast. Because I know I'm out of alignment. My spirit's saying, "Hey, girl, look at this from a different perspective. You're looking at this from a perspective that's false." Because our spirits are pure love, and love is joy. It's supposed to be fun. So, tell people real quickly about your show and how they can find you and how they can find the book and your mom's paintings. I've got all these links on my blog, and I'll put them up in the show notes. But just
thank you.
Tell everybody about your show.
All kinds of this is first. Let's start with the paperback with the book. It's Too Late to Quit. It's on Amazon. It's called "It's Too Late to Quit: Messages and Musings." It's Too Late to Quit: Messages and Musings. That's on Amazon. Now the podcast. I'm so proud of the podcast because I've interviewed like over 80, 90 people all over the world. And each person is a gem, and that's my podcast is called How to Connect with Angels, and it is all about how to connect with angels. Then we have my angel prayer, which is on Alexa, so you can get a 30-second angel prayer. We created that. If you have Alexa, it's free. And then what else, Julie? My film. All of this is focused on this amazing film. We'll be filming as soon as things are clear. The air is as soon as we can safely film this film, we're going to be filming a little film called Angel Lady on the Border of Texas. And all this information is at Angel Lady Movie. That's the name of our website. And please come and drop in, and I'll send you a newsletter and keep you up to date. It's really interesting.
It is. I've read the script, everybody. It's just terrific. It's such a feel-good, inspirational, fun roller coaster ride of a film, and it's just wonderful. It's going to be wonderful. It's been fun watching it all unfold for you, Sherry.
Thank you, babe. Yeah, I'm in the inspiration business. That's what I realized, which makes it very easy to am I plugged in and inspiring myself or not? Julie, thank you so much, my darling. Thank you so much for being such a great friend and such an amazing person. Yeah. You've helped me in so many ways. Thanks, baby.
All right, love you. I'll put all this stuff up, everybody, so you'll be able to find links to it. Okay.
And everyone, have a wonderful time with Miss Julie. She is so great.
Bye, Sherry.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Well, that was fun. She really is, Sherry, you guys, she is a powerhouse. I'm telling you, this woman, she's like got more stuff going on. It's amazing. And this movie is going to be really something too. All right, let's go to the phone. And our first caller is Amy. Hi, Amy.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. I love the synchronicity also. My mom had her first art show at 88, so I had that in common. And then your first guest, which was also fabulous. I and my in-laws call me the witch lady half the time too. So
how fun! Because you're doing woo-woo stuff.
Yeah, that would be it. Yeah.
White witch. That's what my husband said when we first started dating. He's like, "Are you a white witch?" I said, "Oh, yeah, maybe." I'm not going to cast a spell on you.
Yes. No, it's all good. But I am calling you because I do have a bit of a challenge physically, and okay. I have scheduled an appointment, so I'm looking forward to that. But I wanted to get just a feel to get started. Mm-hmm. So I had a really strange phenomena happen last fall, and I lost the hearing in one of my ears.
Huh.
Yeah. And that was my first symptom but I had been in a very kind of minor accident.
In the other room, in case I get on, I'll come back.
Hang on, I'm going to mute whoever just joined us. Hang on.
Okay.
Hi, I'm going to mute you. Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
You know, live show and all.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
It comes right. So that was my first physical ailment, which was a doozy, and then I had been in a car accident about 10 days prior, and had a whiplash, but I just didn't. It sort of manifested. Let's say that. So this has been a real challenge. Being deaf in one ear does a number on your everything. And so I am trying to sort of figure out, you know, honestly, the doctors I went to, it was very, I didn't get a lot of help, but I was led piece by piece, thanks to, you know, divine presence in my life, to get help. And currently I'm with an osteopath who's been phenomenal. But I would like any sort of, you know, any kind of knowledge that you can have or find, or stem cells and everything else. So
yeah. Amy, where are you calling from?
I'm sorry. I'm calling from Sheffield, Mass.
Okay. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get you on my radar. And for those of you that are first-time listeners, what that means is I raise my vibrational level to the level of spirit, because we're all spirits attached to a body having a human experience. And when we're attached to a body, we vibrate more slowly just because the body has mass. So, Amy, I'm going to watch a laser beam in my mind's eye connect from my body here in Birmingham, Alabama. It's going to connect to you up in Massachusetts. Got you. I have a hologram of you in my mind's eye. I'm envisioning shooting energy from your feet up through the top of your head. And it's like I'm looking at an X-ray or a CT scan or an MRI. When you were talking, when I do a scan on somebody, Amy, good thing I'm a woman because I can multitask, right? It's one of our superpowers.
Yeah, right.
I'm talking, I'm seeing things in my head, and I'm getting divine downloads. So ideas in my head, like Lauren, our first guest, was talking about. She was on a walk, and she got the download of Witchy Wellness to call her show. So when you were talking, what I was getting was that you have scar tissue in your head.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I'm going to go into your head, and I'm going to see what's going on. I've got your head on my radar, and I can see scar tissue in there. And brain matter, Amy, looks like really thick cooked oatmeal to me. And it moves around in the head. And, you know, the inside of our head is bony. It's not smooth like the outside of our head. It has these bony prominences. And so when we have an abrupt stop, even if we don't hit our heads, that brain matter can slam up against our skull, and it can cause basically a concussion. And most of the time we're not aware of it, especially when we're kids. You know, we fall down, we fall off bikes, we play sports, we do all kinds of things. Certainly in a car accident, even if you don't hit your head, it's that impact that's really fast and hard. Right. You know, that's what slams that. So I am seeing scar tissue. Scar tissue looks like chicken cartilage that you find in a chicken breast with the bone in. And the reason why I want to remove it is because when I see scar tissue in the brain, number one, I always see lots of it in somebody that has dementia. So whenever I see it in anybody's head, whether it's, you know, if I'm scanning somebody, obviously I don't walk around scanning people. I don't think that's ethical. But when I see it in somebody's head with whom I'm working, I always remove it because it occludes neural pathways. I see them form these little tributaries around the scar tissue. They look like a river that has little tributaries off from it. If you see a river on a map, you know how it has those little streams and brooks and stuff. So I'm removing that scar tissue, and it leaves a divot. Imagine if you took a big spoonful of really thick oatmeal, it's going to leave a divot in the oatmeal. And now here comes your stem cell energy per your request. I would have used it anyways, but stem cell energy looks like a light amber colored gel. It has sparkles in it, and it's filling that divot. And then there's a vortex that forms above it, Amy, and imagine a funnel cloud. Mm-hmm. That's what it looks like. It spins very fast. And it's that centrifugal force that transforms the stem cell energy into whatever body part we need. And this stuff is so cool, Amy, because it will regenerate. I've seen it regenerate whole organs that show up on scans. And I've had doctors call me and say, okay, what are you doing with my patient and how does this work? So that is spinning new brain matter. And it'll be done here in just a second. And then that'll light up those neural pathways. Okay, just finished. So those neural pathways then are all lit up in your head, and they look like laser beams that crisscross a room in a museum as part of a security system. Maybe you've seen it in a movie where those laser beams, they're crisscrossing a room because they're trying to keep people from stealing paintings after hours. Kind of a thing. And that's what they look like. And as soon as that brain matter is regenerated, boy, those neural pathways just immediately come online. It's pretty wild to watch. So we probably just raised your IQ a few points just now.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
But I will say this. I have not lost faith about the hearing. I really still believe that God's got a miracle, and I'm not giving up.
We'll work on that when we do our private session.
Great.
We'll work on the hearing.
Very good.
The scar tissue in the brain, things always show up in order of importance, with the most important first, and then other things that show up will show up in a descending order of importance. And the reason why I'm so descriptive in my visuals, Amy, is because if you can envision what I'm seeing in my mind's eye, it's going to help integrate the healing into your body. Because the body's always going to do what the brain tells it, even if the brain doesn't believe it.
Okay. Well, you are absolutely right, because I didn't really think I had a concussion because that was my number 4. So the osteopath who was so great, he said, well, they're cumulative. So even though you didn't get knocked out and you didn't lose your memory, you still had one. Right. And bingo, that's why the result was so devastating. Right.
Right. So we'll do we'll just give you a tune-up all over when I get to talk to you for a whole hour. So thanks for calling in.
Thank you so much. Thank you for what you do. Thank you.
You bet. Take care. Bye, Amy.
Okay, bye-bye.
Our next caller is Charles. Hi, Charles. Hi, Charles.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Nice to to connect with you, Julie.
You too. How are you, sir?
I am basically pretty good, but I have the I'm a retired person, and I have some of the barnacles and nicks and dents that come with life experience. And what I was wondering is, first of all, the very thing you were just talking about, you go in descending order. I had a particular bodily aspect in mind, but I wondered if you could scan me and see, and I would just as soon go with the big kahuna first, whatever that is.
Yeah, absolutely. Where are you calling from, Charles?
I am calling from, it's the Colorado City Rye area, 30 miles southwest of Pueblo, Colorado, in the beautiful Rocky Mountain foothills.
Oh, I bet it's gorgeous. I was just going to say, I bet it's gorgeous.
Every day I celebrate it and give thanks for it.
Wonderful. Okay, here comes my laser beam hooking into you from Sweet Home, Alabama, out to you in Colorado. All right, got you. Have a hologram of you in my mind's eye, shooting energy from your feet up through the top of your head. You got inflammation in your low back. Does your low back hurt?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. All right, inflammation that's the first thing that came up, Charles. And inflammation looks like red fog over body parts to me. And I get it removed by applying anti-inflammatory energy, which is a royal blue color, so that I can see underneath it. Kind of like when you're driving on a foggy day or a foggy night, it occludes your vision. You got to get out of the fog. So the anti-inflammatory energy will make your back feel better, but it's also going to remove the inflammation fog so I can see what's going on. You have a bulging disc on the left side of your low back. Anybody told you that?
I wasn't aware of that, but I do have a congenital scoliosis that literally involves the whole spine from neck to neck to butt.
Okay, let's do two really fast healings on that. First is the disc that showed up first. So I'm propping up the vertebrae where the disc is bulging. I'm putting the disc back in its proper place. And then there's this really fine netting that I watch get put on those two vertebrae to hold the disc in place. Imagine the vertebrae above and the vertebra, I think is singular, vertebra below. And the funny thing about that, Charles, is years later when I go in and scan somebody that I've seen that healing on before, that netting is still there. It looks like really fine fish netting that you'd use to get a goldfish out of an aquarium. You know, that really fine fish net. And then on the scoliosis, I'm seeing curvature to the left, on the left side.
Bingo.
Yeah. All right. So I do this healing all the time, many times a week. There's a rod that's put on the right side of your spine. There's one on the left side of your spine. Your spine is heated, imagine, with a energetic laser to make it soft and pliable, similar to a potter working with clay. It's got to be soft so that they can, make whatever they're making, a vase or a bowl or whatever. So that rod on the right is stationary. The one on the left is moving very slowly towards the right to straighten out that spine. When it gets in its proper place, it just got there, it goes into a groove that reminds me of a sliding glass door groove. And that's in place. The spine has been lasered again, similar to a potter that fires their creation to make it solid. We want to put that spine in place. And then those rods fall off to the side and they disintegrate. They just disappear. So I've shot energy from your feet up through the top of your head, and hopefully that will give you some relief.
Great.
Okay.
Great.
Thanks for calling, Charles.
Oh, you are most welcome. And just in 30 seconds, let you know I'm a fellow Buckeye from Massillon, Ohio, originally, and one of Ohio State's the football head coaches was my next door neighbor when he was a high school coach.
Who was that?
Earl Bruce.
Oh, Earl Bruce lived down the street from me in the same neighborhood.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was growing
amazing.
up. Oh, my gosh. This must be Ohio State night tonight with all these Buckeyes.
It must, and I follow them with a passion.
Yeah, me too. And, Sweet Home Alabama, that's my other favorite team, the Tide. The Tide.
Oh, yeah.
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 Well, Charles, great talking with you. I hope you feel better.
Thank you much, Julie. I have an appointment with you in early June, and I'm looking forward to more time together.
Me too. We'll do a full tune-up on you then.
Okay, thank you so much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, let's go to Kamla next. Hi, Kamla.
Hi.
How are you, girl?
I'm really good. I'm a first-time caller, so I really don't
Terrific.
know. Do you ask the question of yourself, or can you ask for someone?
Whatever you'd like. But you got to tell me first where you're calling in from.
Oh, I'm calling from Mississauga, Canada.
Okay, terrific. Well, whatever question you want, I'll be happy to help answer it for you.
Okay, so about 5 years ago, my daughter got pregnant naturally, and at 24 weeks, she went into preterm labor and she lost the baby.
Oh.
So I always wonder if that soul is okay, and she's tried many, many things since, and she's not gotten pregnant, so I'm just wondering if there's a baby in store for her.
What's her name, Kamala?
Nyla, Nyla.
Okay. All right. I'm going to connect to you and from you to Nyla.
Okay.
And to answer your question, yes, that baby spirit is always around her. Have you read my book, Angelic Attendants, yet?
Do you know what? I just found you through Christiane Northrup. It's like I was being pointed.
Oh.
And that's how I got your name and went on your web and saw the podcast and signed up.
Oh, so wonderful. I'm so glad.
Yes, so I'm just looking into ordering that book. In fact, I'm asking, it's my birthday next week.
Oh,
so
me too. Happy birthday early.
May 21,
Yeah.
So
on the day before, on the 20th.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So she asked me what to buy me, and that's one of the books I'm going to ask her to buy me.
In the book, I talk about how baby spirits attach to the mom's energy field before they're conceived. And sometimes it's years in advance. And it's birth baby's energy and also adopted baby's energy too, Kamala.
Right.
And they look like an orb. Have you ever seen an orb in a photograph, perhaps a family photograph?
Yes.
Those are spirits. It's just our digital cameras can capture them because they take the picture so fast.
Okay.
And so Nyla has a spirit above her right shoulder. She's got an orb that's above her right shoulder. It's not imminent, but it's not very far out either.
Okay.
So when I see women that have a lot of babies above their shoulder, sometimes they're stacked out in the distance. Like if you've ever been by an airport and you can see at night the planes have their landing lights on and they're stacked up in the distance waiting to get clearance to land. She's got one right now. But remember, it can be an adopted baby or a baby she births. I love that adopted babies' energies attach to the adopted mom's energy field plus the birth mom's energy field, both at the same time. I've seen that many times.
Okay.
So, yes. And the baby that she lost, she can talk to at any time. You can tell Nyla she can talk to that baby, and she'll hear that baby answer her. It'll feel like a thought in her head, and you'll read this in Angelic Attendance.
Okay.
But it's within a second. If she thinks about it for more than a couple of seconds, that will be her brain talking to her. But spirits communicate telepathically, so she'll be able to communicate with that spirit of that baby that decided not to be born.
Yeah, I guess that's what happened.
Yes. Well, wonderful to meet you, my dear. Thanks so much for calling in.
And happy birthday.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
You too. Take care. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
May babies here. All right. Our next caller is Laura. Hi, Laura. Hi, Laura.
Hi. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm really good.
Terrific. Where are you calling us from?
I am calling from South Burlington, Vermont.
Oh, wonderful. Beautiful country up there.
Yeah, it is. It's starting to finally get green, getting some leaves. It's getting nice.
No, good. I'll send you some of my magnolia blossoms up north if you'd like.
Thank you. We could use that.
I bet. I planted, when we built this house, I planted a ton of magnolias. I mean, had the guys that were doing the landscaping. And not only because they're really good screens, to see the neighbors, and the blossoms are so gorgeous, but I wanted to use the branches and the leaves at Christmas time to decorate because it's so southern. And now I have friends that live in the north that have me send them these huge boxes of branches that I cut off my trees because they're $10 a branch at their local garden center. So that's their Christmas present because it cost me $50 to ship the box. Everything inside's free, but it's a fortune to ship the box. So anyways, well, you got a question for me?
I do. So I also booked an appointment with you in July.
Great.
So I'm pretty excited about that. I have been diagnosed with mold toxicity.
Okay.
And it seems like it's mainly in my lungs because I seem to have these coughing issues, a lot in the morning and then randomly some days, and some days I don't. And it's from what my naturopath has said, it's from the childhood home I grew up in. We had water damage several times in our basement, and my father never did anything about it, so it was always a musty house. And apparently that can just kind of the spores can sit in your body and kind of pop up whenever. So I've been kind of dealing with that and just started to get on a regimen of different things to detox with, but I just thought, you know what? I wonder if Julie could help me with this. Because I feel that energetically there's always a way to fix everything.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
While you've been talking, I've been clearing the mold out of your system. It's not just from when you were a child. It's been since you've been an adult, because you've got a bunch of it. So I'm clearing it out of your system. Yeah, and when we talk on our private appointment, we can figure out where it is. I scan houses and offices and buildings all the time and figure out where the mold is for people, because sometimes people don't know where it is. And, you don't want to go start tearing down walls till you know what the heck's in there.
Right. Well,
you've got a bunch of it in your brain, too, and that's where the mold spores from long ago like to hide out. Have you ever seen a model of the brain, Laura, where there's little crevices that show up in the brain? And you may recall that I was talking about with Amy earlier that brain matter looks like thick cooked oatmeal. So what I've done is I've flattened out your brain matter like how you'd roll out sugar cookie dough to make sugar cookies at Christmas time, with the cookie cutters. And I'm irrigating out the mold spores that like to hide in all those nooks and crannies, like an English muffin with nooks and crannies, right? And then I've let the brain matter go back, and I've put it back in. People that haven't been around mold in years, those mold spores are still in those crevices in the brain, so I just automatically go there now and look for it. But yeah, that will help a lot. A couple of websites that you can go to that'll have information that might help you in the short run, Laura, are Amen Clinics, AMEN, like amen at the end of a prayer, amenclinics.com. Look up in their mold protocol. And then also there's a gal, and what the heck's her name, in survivingmold.com. You want to go to that one, and that will have some different suggestions for you of how you can start clearing it out. And then something else that I suggest watching is moldymovie.com. They have a documentary there done by my friend Dave Asprey, the Bulletproof Coffee guy. He did a documentary on mold, and it's just terrific. Really terrific.
I just started drinking that coffee. I switched to that coffee.
He suffered from mold exposure for a long time, and he did a terrific documentary on it. So you might go to moldymovie.com, and you can learn more there.
This is something that is definitely treatable that I can get rid of?
Oh, yeah. Everything's fixable. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now,
look forward.
Is there something else? Go ahead.
I'm going to need to let you go so I can get somebody else on, because I limit it to one question just so I can try and get as many people on as I can. But I'll look forward to having you for a whole hour.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, take care. Bye, Laura.
Bye.
All right, let's go to Jenny next. Hi, Jenny.
Hi, Julie.
How are you, girl?
Good. Thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome. Please tell everybody where you're calling from.
Yep, I'm calling from Central Wisconsin.
Okay, terrific.
And the question I have for you is, I want to know if you could scan me to let me know if I'm in perimenopause. And how do you know if I need either progesterone or estrogen as far as hormone replacement?
Well, yes, you are. I got you on my radar while you were talking, and you need both, and probably a little bit of testosterone as well. So do you have a pen? Jenny, do you have a pen handy or a pencil?
Yep.
Okay, so write down these websites, and you can find a doctor in your area who specializes in you want to do bioidentical hormones. That's what our bodies manufacture when we're young and fertile, right?
Okay.
So go to IFM, I as in Institute, F as in Functional Medicine, M as in medicine.org, the Institute for Functional Medicine.org. And then the second one is A, the letter A, the number 4, the letter M as in Mary.com. And that stands for the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine. And both of those places you can go, and Jenny, you can put in your zip code, and then you can find somebody in your area. For those of you that are listening outside of the U.S., that ifm.org is international. So put your postal code in, and it'll populate with doctors that are in your area who can help you. And you'll want to have progesterone and testosterone, and it's usually estradiol is what they use. And you know,
so I'm low on all 3 of them.
Yeah, I put energetic estrogen into you just to help you feel a little bit better. But Dr. Christiane Northrup, drnorthrup.com, she's the fairy godmother of women's health. I mean, if you go on her website, The Wisdom of Menopause is the Bible for this. I highly recommend that you read it, but you can get a lot of information from her site, Dr. Northrup, northrup.com. And
okay, will do.
All
right, well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You bet. Thanks for calling. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. All righty, our next caller is Diane. Hi, Diane.
Hi, Julie.
How are ya?
I'm good. I'm calling from Michigan.
Okay, terrific.
I talked to you before, but I need to kind of get an idea of where my aunt is, my Aunt Lorraine, in her quest here to get to the other side.
Okay. I'm going to connect to you, Diane, and from you to Lorraine. Was she in one of the phases of transition last time we spoke?
She was, yes.
Okay. Do you remember which one? She's in 11 right now.
She's in 11. She's bouncing.
Mm-hmm.
Bouncing around, and I'm just confused. That's why I'm trying to, get everything in the right time and help my cousin deal with it too, because he lives with her. She doesn't have any children. We're taking care of her. My uncle
God bless you.
So I just needed an update.
What we're talking about, everybody, is the 12 phases of transition, and it's what everybody goes through as they're dying. And Diane, you know this, and for those of you that are first-time listeners that haven't heard this, maybe we're all surrounded by angels and deceased loved ones as we're preparing to die, and it can happen instantly, like in the case of a quick death, Diane, like a suicide or a homicide, or you hear about, he dropped dead from a heart attack. Everybody goes through 12 phases of transition, or it can be prolonged, and they can bounce around. To your point, they can be in phase 11 and then go back to phase 6 or something. But when we see the different phases of transition and somebody's going through the phases at a fairly rapid rate, you can see that it's time to go say goodbye. She's at phase 11 of 12. And everybody, you can see this on my website, AskJulieRyan.com. You'll see it. Just click on the tab, AskJulieRyan.com, the 12 phases of transition, and you'll see graphics of this. It's also obviously detailed in my book, Angelic Attendants. I would say if family wants to say goodbye to her, I think now is the time. Let's talk to her, Diane, and ask her. So, Aunt Lorraine, are you ready to go? Yes. Are you in pain? She's saying sometimes. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. What do you need? They just need to let me go, is what she's saying. What you may want to do, Diane, is you may want to say to her, now, is her husband still alive?
No, he's passed 6 years ago.
Okay. So say, we've got everything covered here. You go be with your uncle, whatever his name is. You go be with them. You go be with the family. Please, watch over us. And sometimes people need permission to go. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but it's just the way it is.
No, it's not crazy. Okay, that helps me immensely. Thank you.
Yeah. And then You can talk to her. Spirits, every spirit has their own frequency, Diane, whether it's attached to a body or not. So we communicate with spirits of people who are alive. So you ask, is she able to communicate? Is she able to talk?
Yeah.
Okay. But if she gets to the point where she's not, you can say something to her in your head or aloud, and she's going to respond within a second. Her spirit will, and it's going to sound like it's one of your thoughts. You're going to think, this feels like that's my thought. Okay. How you tell it's her communicating with you, because spirits communicate telepathically. So how she's communicating with you is it comes in within a second, Diane, as fast as you can snap your fingers.
Okay.
If you think about it for more than a second, that's your brain. And the other thing to remember is spirits are super literal. So be really specific if you're looking for an answer to something or guidance or something that's really important. Be really specific how you ask the question. All right?
Okay.
With detail.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, good luck.
Thanks.
She's lucky to have you. Okay.
All
Take
right.
care.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye, Diane. Okay, everybody. We do this show every Thursday night at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, and 5 Pacific. The call-in number is 712-770-4160, and the access code is 533677#. You can find this information a whole bunch of places. Anywhere you download the podcast, it's in the show notes. We're on a whole bunch of stations. On my website, AskJulieRyan.com, to the bottom of the home page. We're on Alexa. We're on YouTube, all those places. Also, I send out a blog each week. It's a question normally that somebody has submitted online, and I answer it. And in the body of the email has all this call-in information. And when you're on my site, sign up for that blog. It's a reminder. And schedule an appointment, and then I'll have a whole hour to talk with you. If it looks like I'm booked out for a while, go ahead and get on the schedule, because we can move your appointment around if somebody cancels or reschedules. People reschedule all the time, and we can move your appointment around a lot of times earlier. Like tomorrow, I'm talking to a client who scheduled yesterday, and she's getting in 2 days. So I'd say get on the schedule, and then we can move you around if need be. And please leave a review on iTunes or wherever you listen to this podcast. It helps others find it. And also, please leave a review on Amazon for Angelic Attendants and also for Angel Messages for Kids. If you've read those books, that also helps people find this information. And it's usually people who are most in need of comfort that's looking for something to help them. With that, everybody, we're out of time. This went so fast. I hope it was as much fun for you to listen to as it was for me. And have a great week, and I'll talk to you next week. Take care, everybody. Bye now.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to follow Julie on Twitter at AskJulieRyan and like her on Facebook at AskJulieRyan. For information on how you can ask Julie your question, please visit AskJulieRyan.com.